Hi! Welcome to the Uncle Angus Garden Show. Just kidding. I want to make some bread and butter pickles, so let's go out to the garden and see what we got for cucumbers. Look, my miracle beans have little blossoms on them. Yep, pretty sure we're going to find some cucumbers in there. Okay, let's get into the dill. Look at the dill. It's all crowded and hunkered down. Oh, look at that. We got some. That's a big one. Ooh, that looks like we might have salad with that. You see, if you're going to make pickles, you want them smaller. But I'm going to be making bread and butter pickles. Oh my God. Holy smokes. Okay, I got to get two hands in here, folks. I'll show you when I'm done. And I have, look at what I got out of this one little bed. Those are big. Those are really big. And there are dozens and dozens of little blossoms and baby cucumbers all over in here. So, yeah, next step, slice and soak. Okay, so I have a bowl here, and look at this cutting board. This is a Canadian-made cutting board that my brother brought me. Isn't it beautiful? So here is a bowl, and here are my cucumbers, and I'm going to start. Now, I've got this, for this amount of cucumbers, I'm doing 2 medium to large onions. You don't have to put onions in it if you don't want to. I just like to. Now for this stage, you're going to need some pickling salt as well. We always use pickling salt because there's no additives or iodine in it. Now, I gotta eat this. I always eat the first baby out of pick. Alrighty, now I'm going to cut the ends off. Save those for my eyes later. And we're going to slice these in fairly thin slices, but you want them to hold together. Now normally you would use a smaller pickle or a cucumber, and these cucumbers are more better for relish at this size than they are for pickles, but not when it comes to bread and butter pickles. I like big slices of bread and butter pickles so I can get them on my burger. There's also the fact that I'm going to have a lot of green tomatoes, and I like my green tomato relish, eh dear? It's nice and tasty. So we're going to just slice all these. And I'm just going to put a little sprinkle of salt over these. You're going to need about 2 tablespoons to 3 tablespoons of salt, or about a quarter cup for this many cucumbers. Okay, so now I'm working on my onions. And as you can see, when I stir this, some of the cucumbers were pretty big and I had to cut them in half slices. That's okay. This is just my first picking from that little bed. And I want bread and butter sweet pickles. So I'm just going to cut these up in nice slices. And this looks like it's going to be just the right amount of onion for this recipe. 2 onions. Oh, I'm a-crying. Boo! It's the onion blues. Okay. Another little sprinkle of salt. In total, you want about a quarter cup of salt in a bowl this size. This is going to go in the fridge overnight with a napkin over it. And we're just going to let that salt pull the water out of the onions and cucumbers. So we'll see you when that's done. Okay, so here is, see all the water? That's what the salt did in sitting these in the fridge overnight. Now I'm just going to dump these and give them a rinse, because I am going to be adding salt to the pickle. Now, I've discovered I'm out of turmeric, so I'm going to make curried bread and butter pickles. Trust me, they'll be delicious. But if you don't want curried pickles, just substitute the curry for turmeric. So what I have here is a half a teaspoon to 3/4 of a teaspoon of curry powder, a half a teaspoon of dry mustard. You can substitute that with a teaspoon of mustard seed, 1 teaspoon of celery seeds, and 1 teaspoon of pickling salt. You need a 1.5 cups of sugar and a 1.5 cups of vinegar. If you really want to give it depth of flavor, do it brown sugar and cider vinegar. I just happen to be out of both right now. Our jars have been washed and rinsed and are coming to a boil in the canning pot. The canning pot I'm going to use is just a stock pot with a wire rack in the bottom to keep the glass off the bottom of the pot. Now, if you'll notice, these jars are full of water and they're just under the water line. That's how I like them. Why? Because I dump the water out and I fill it with pickles, and by the time I have these 5 jars filled with pickles, the water will be at the perfect height to 1 inch to 2 inches above the finished jars. Okay, I wasn't recording. In the pot here, I have put my sugar, my vinegar, and my salt and spices, and we're just going to bring this up to a boil. And I want to show you something. If you have trouble pouring vinegar out of a big jug, take the top and prick some holes in it with a fork. It's better for, say, pouring on your French fries, and also it helps you control the pour. So we're just going to continue to bring this up to a simmer until you can feel all the sugar in the bottom is dissolved. And then we're going to take our rinsed vegetables and you know what, we need a deeper, more narrow strainer, more built like a stock pot, and we just want to simmer these. Once we see steam starting to come off, you just want to simmer these, oh, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes, but not boiling. Just bring it up to a boil, turn it down to simmer. Remember, these have been in the fridge all night, so they'll take a minute. These are warmed up enough to bottle, because you know what? They're going to be canned in the boil bath canner too, and you don't want to lose all your crunchiness, right? Okay, I've taken my jar out of the boil bath canner. I'm going to start filling up my jars with pickles and juice. We're going to push this down, and we want it filled from 1 inch to 1/2 inch from the top, but always, always, always debubble. Wipe the rim of your jar with a clean damp cloth or paper towel. On goes a clean washed rinsed lid, and into the canner that goes. You know, I thought the curry would make them taste a whole lot different. All right, once I have the rest of these in jars and in the canner, we'll be back. Okay, I've got 5 pints in the canner and 1 just going right in the fridge. So I'm just going to put this lid on there upside down because it doesn't fit, but it will make sure the water goes back in. And I'm going to boil bath can these because they weren't completely boiling when I put them in the jars. We're going to boil bath can these for 25 minutes. Okay, my timer has gone off. Here come the pickles. I'll tell you something, these are good on anything, but next to a grilled cheese sandwich, oh my goodness. And the swapping out the curry for the turmeric did not make that much of a difference. Curried bread and butter pickles. Yummy! This is the Miss Wolfie from our half-acre homestead saying if you don't got turmeric, you can use curry powder. It's just as good. Take care, God bless.